a couple weeks ago, or actually last weekend, Joanna Mitchell was here giving her yearly forecast, celestial forecast, and she said this is going to be another year for activists. Not surprising, given I'm an astrologer too, given the current planetary positions. We're in a major period of change. This is kind of a cliche, but so the question is, what kind of activists are we going to be? And because we are the 99%, there are going to be lots of different shades of that. And the coloration of my activism throughout my life has always been peaceful activism, nonviolent. And today we are really both conscientious. One was a conscientious objector, and Ali threw away his heavyweight championship of the world in protest of the war and was in prison, etc. But so what I'd like to share to start out with is a poem about dealing with discomfort, the discomfort of seeing people in uncomfortable situations, homeless, hungry, naked in this land of ours that the Sweet Honey talks about in their song, and confronting that place in ourselves that makes us uncomfortable with our own comfort. So it's giving and receiving, which is a Buddhist term for leveling the differences between us and others. A walk downtown, so many bodies in stained jackets, woolen caps, asleep amidst pedestrians, didn't even bother to find a niche or bench or under the bridge. We ignored our underbelly, exposed for all to see. Creatures hurt by humans don't offer their undersides to touch, but these street people are too tired to bother. Near parking lot ATM, a young beggar, soft voice, no story, message direct. Could you spare $1? I'm homeless. Doesn't whine, so young, his guileless eyes. At first I say, no, I can't. God bless, his answer. Back in my Prius, I dig out a bill. I found this tucked away, his sweet surprise. So this whole Occupy thing, we may think we are very compassionate people, but it's hard to, sometimes we have to have the courage to face what is, and then we have to have the courage to take an action. And we're talking about free expression. And I have a lot of, I had this whole thing prepared with quotes by Albert Camus and Martin Luther King, and I guess I don't have to give you these quotes. These are people who came to the same place that we're coming to now with Occupy, the Occupy movement in all of its different branches. Because injustice is always there, and we need to follow the laws that are just, and if they're unjust, we need to break them because it's our moral responsibility to do so. And my great hope for Occupy Eugene, that the different factions come together and enrich each other and we come closer together. What kind of activism? Activism for the earth. My Parvin Butte t-shirt. Save Parvin Butte. And there's an artist named Tom Baxter in Dexter who is making these t-shirts. The money, I guess, will be used for the lawyer that they've hired. And you may have seen, and here's a poem that I didn't write. This is called Carvin' Parvin. It was in the Weekly. I thought it was a fine little ditty about standing up for the gouging of earth. It should not be carved. They're carving away at carbon butte. They want to haul it away to sea. By the time they get done with their disruptive fun, carbon butt is all it will be. So I want to, if you want information on how to get these, let me know. And I can tell you who to write a check to. And Carter Mackenzie, great poet who lives out there, has offered to make them available. So that's my advertising. So now I'd like to read another poem that is quite recent, and this is the Sweet Honey in the Rock. Listening to their albums yesterday, you know, these great women of color who sang about social issues in the 90s, and homeless. Why am I homeless? Why am I hungry in this land of plenty? Why am I naked? I was thinking about a homeless man who comes to our door, has been coming to our door for 15 years. And I tell you, I hate him and I love him. He's been my nemesis and my teacher. And I call it discomfort. And his name will not be revealed. Settled in at my home desk early in the morning. Uh-oh, empty bottles rattle in the grocery cart. Almost musical if it didn't mean a visit from F. Unwanted familiar, here with his fake cheer and tragicomic face trailing a balloon of melancholy. Attired in gaudy castaways from dumpsters and friends, complete with long stories about each item, especially the athletic shoes. His loop of repeating stories. Mom died, at least 3 times now. My other mom died. Need bus fare to Portland. I'll pay you back. Weeping in any season on the front porch. After 12 years, I remain prey, he predator. I've forgotten to put up the laminated yellow writer at work sign. There's the doorbell. F is here. He's a nice guy, a boy, never a mensch. I always have a choice. To greet or hide, wavering with the sign of the moon. Heart pounding, I go silent and wait. The orchestral cart retreats down the street. He's a nice guy, always a puer, always a boy, never a mensch. What kind of Buddhist am I? So that's what I've been kind of grappling with. And I wanted to share one last thought while I have your ear. And I'm sorry, I'm not a slam poet. And these are new poems. They're not poems that I'm necessarily proud of, you know, but they're honest. So the great meditation masters say, don't be swayed by external circumstances. Occupy movement and its connecting us with all the strands of people who have been neglected, and we know the reasons why. We know the reasons why. Don't be swayed by extreme circumstances. Always meditate on what provokes resentment. When the world is filled with evil, transform all mishaps into the path of awareness. So these humble thoughts are the ones that wanted to come to you today. I'm going to end with a poem by a good friend of mine who lives near Baltimore in Columbia, Maryland. And it's a self-published book, and she writes a lot about the black community there. They closed their grocery store again. The convenience store has been boarded for 2 years. The gas station levels, tanks pulled out of the ground. Across the road, there are signs of the time. Foreclosure, now the New Deal memory of neighborly faces fade to blank as the cards get stacked against them. So thank you, and I hope that we'll see you next week at the birthday reading for William Stafford. Now I think the next person up is Nicole.
Yeah, Nicole Taylor or Charles. Is Nicole here?